All right. Hey guys, welcome to the new video. Today I'm gonna go over the reproductive system. I'm gonna go over the male and the female, along with the cats as well. I'm also go over the histology, so the cross-sectional part. And so yeah, let's just get into it. So I'm gonna start off with the female. Um, this is a human diagram of a female's ovary and stuff, and let's identify the models or the lablets. Okay, so looking at W here, I'm gonna use the color pink. Actually, yeah, pink is good. So W here, in this structure, going like that. That right there is called the uterine tube or the fallopian tube. Okay, and then this structure at the end of the fallopian tube or the uterine tube is called the ovary. The ovary. Looking at this structure right here, that right there is called the ovarian ligament. Ovarian ligament. And then the structure coming out from this way is called the round ligament. The round ligament. And then this big old structure going like that, that right there is called the broad ligament. The broad ligament. Okay, now going over X, and this one here, that right there is the uterus. So it's the whole thing with that. That right there is the whole uterus. The cervix is both O and L, so it's just this thing right here. That right there is the cervix. And then the vagina is this structure right here. Okay, that should be it with the human diagram. I'm gonna go over the real model right now. Okay, now going over the real model. This is fairly similar. This is in a coronal view. Oh, is it in a coronal? That is not in a coronal view. This is a lateral view, split in half. So, anyways, again, this structure right here, the one with the little balls and stuff, that right there is the ovary. Ovary. And then here is the fallopian tube or the uterine tube. This big structure right here is the uterus. And then here, this is not part of our lab list, but I think it's good to know. That right there is the bladder. The bladder. Okay. This right here, K, where it's pointing right here, that right there is the cervix. The cervix. In here, this little what's it called, like opening? Oh, what is cavity? There we go. That's the word I was trying to look for. The cavity is the vagina. Okay, and then this one right here where I'm pointing at, I'm going to provide a picture here showing you what it is because I really can't tell you, but that right there is the urogenital vestibule. Okay, and then this little structure right here is the clitoris. The clitoris. Okay, going over the L, this one right here, that right there is the ovarian ligament. Ovarian ligament. And then this structure going away from here, that right there is called the round ligament. The round ligament. Okay, that should be it with the real human model. All right, now going over the cats. The cats here, this structure right here is again, that right there is the ovary. And then this right here going, well, not going, but it's bending like that. That right there is the uterine tube or the fallopian tube. Okay. And then in the lab list, it says here, it can only be found in the cats. This right there is called the horn. So right here is if we're looking at it from the anatomical side, this right here is the right horn, and this is the left horn. And then this structure right here, right in the middle, where the horns are connected, is the uterus. Uterus. And then this big old structure right here is the vagina. Vagina. Okay. And then finally, the last one right here is the urogenital vestibule. Urogenital vestibule. Okay. Now going over the real model of the cat. This structure right there is the ovary. The ovary. And then, I guess I didn't label it, but in the curving side this way, when it curves, that right there is the uterine tube or the fallopian tube. And then, of course, this right there, and of course, this one too, is the horn. This is the right horn, and then this is the left horn. Right here is the uterus. That right there is the uterus. And then going down this way is the vagina. Vagina. The urethra here. This right here is the urinary bladder, and then right here is the urethra, and then this right here is the urogenital sinus for the cats. And that should be it with the cat model. All right, now going over the cross-sectional slide of an ovary, I wanted to say something before I begin. This video is more of identifying than explaining. Later on, maybe this week though, I will make a video explaining it because this is part of the lab list. And so yeah, let's just get it started. After I delete whatever I just did here. So yeah, just give me a second, I'll be quick. Okay, so stages of folliculogenesis. We first start with the primordial follicle. This right here is known as the oocyte, and then this right here is the granulosa cell. The primordial follicle then transitions into the primary follicle. In the primary follicle, we have the granulosa cell transitioning from basically from this to little circles like that. Again, this is still the oocyte, and then here surrounding the oocyte is the zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. After the primary follicle, it then transitions into the secondary follicle. And then looking at the granulosa cells, as you can see, they've moved. They were stacked here first, now they kind of like moved around right here. Still, right here is the oocyte, and then here's the oocyte nucleus. And then surrounding the oocyte is the zona pellucida right there. And then as you can see, we now have new structures here. So the one surrounding the whole thing right here like that is called the theca cells. Theca cells. After the secondary follicle, we then transition into the tertiary follicle, or also known as the Graafian follicle. Same thing. So in the tertiary follicle, as you can see, the oocyte is now in this structure, and the granulosa cells are now more compact than ever. And the theca cells is still the same, surrounding it. After the tertiary follicle, it then transitions into ovulating follicle. This is not in the lab list, so yeah. The granulosa cells has now looked like that. Oh crap, that was a. And then the oocyte now looks like that. Well, it was already looking like that back in the tertiary follicle, but yeah, whatever. And then after that, it's the corpus luteum, and then right there is the ovary and the corpus luteum. They're not in the lab list, so I'm not even gonna bother to go over them. And that should be it with the stages of folliculogenesis and the cross-sectional slide of an ovary, well, identifying them, but I'll be explaining them in a video soon. Okay, hey guys, welcome back. Right now I'm gonna go over the male pelvic system. This is the reproductive system for males. Okay, starting off, you guys already know what V is. You already guys know what this is. This right here is, of course, the penis. Going over R, okay, now, before I continue, with the scrotum, right here, J, R, and M, they're all known as a scrotum. But I promise you, in the real model, when I go over it in a bit, it's so much easier to identify. Right now, it looks pretty confusing because it is confusing, but once I get to the real model, I can guarantee you will know what the scrotum is. So just know that the scrotum is like the outer layer of the testicle. Okay, going over K, of course, this is right here, is the testes. And then I is this structure here. The eye is also known as the epididymis. Epididymis. Okay, connected to the testes is called the vas deferens. The vas deferens. It leads to the urinary bladder. So D is called the vas deferens. And then with the inguinal canal, it's B, but I really can't explain it. So I recommend to ask Don and Hoff more information about inguinal canal. But B is inguinal canal. Cool. Okay, going over the second model, let's identify the ones that are highlighted. So going over number 3 first. Number 3 is called the seminal vesicle. So it's this structure right here. That right there is the seminal vesicle. Going over number 6 right here. This structure right here is called the prostate gland. Prostate gland. And then right here, number 12 is the scrotum. Right now it looks pretty confusing, but I promise you, you will understand it once I go over the real model. But just know it's the outer layer. 13 is, of course, the epididymis, the structure surrounding the thing. Epididymis. And then 14 is the testes. Going away right here, like that. That right there is called the vas deferens. Vas deferens. Okay, cool. Let me see here. Okay, so going over the spongy bodies. Actually, I think it's best to go over the urethra first. The urethra is not part of the lab list, but I think it's good to know. The urethra goes through here. And then surrounded by the urethra is called the spongy bodies, or the corpus spongiosum. So the ones I'm highlighting right here is called the corpus spongiosum. And then above the corpus spongiosum right here is called the corpora cavernosa, or the cavernous bodies. They're the same thing. Okay, cool. Okay, now going over the real model. Like I said, this is so much easier to look at. Right here, this structure right here, that right there is called the seminal vesicle. Underneath the urinary bladder, this is the urinary bladder. Underneath that is the seminal vesicle. Oh, no, sorry, not the seminal vesicle, the prostate gland. This right here is the prostate gland. This is the seminal vesicle. Now the scrotum is this outer layer of the testes right there. That right there is the scrotum. 8A, which is basically the testicle, is of course testes. Testes. And then above the testes is called the epididymis. Epididymis. Connected to the testes is called the vas deferens. As you can see, it leads to urinary bladder. Oh, actually, no. I don't know if it's actually connected to the urinary bladder, but in here it looks like it's connected to the seminal vesicle. But yeah, I don't know much yet. This is more of identifying. But again, the thing connected here is called the vas deferens. And then here is the inguinal canal. Again, ask her about it because I really don't know how to explain it. So going over the urethra. Urethra is the red portion that I drew right here. That right there is called the urethra. Surrounding the urethra is the what's it called? There go corpus spongiosum. That took so long to say out, but right there is called the corpus spongiosum, or the spongy bodies. And then above the corpus spongiosum is called the corpora cavernosa, or the cavernous bodies. And of course, yeah, you guys already know what this is, the penis. And that should be it with the human model. I'll go over the cats right now. Okay, now going over the cat model. Before I go over the whole thing, I want to say something. So the models I found online, they don't have all of the labless models. So I'll just go over the ones that it has. Okay, okay, let's just begin. So here, of course, that right there is the testes, along with the scrotum. So technically, you could say this right here is the scrotum with the testes. And then on top of the testes is the epididymis. The epididymis. And then going up here like that, that right there is called the vas deferens. So both of these are known as the vas deferens. Cool. Now the penis is right here. That's the penis right there. And then over here going like that through the penis is called the urethra. But that is not on the lab list, so you don't have to worry about it too much. And that should be it with the cat model diagram. Now let's go over the real picture. Going over the real picture, let's start off with the testes first. Right here is the scrotum with the testes, right? And then I don't have it labeled, but above the testes should be the epididymis right there. Again, this, well, not again, but this right here is the penis of the cat. And then right here is the urethra, but that is not on the lab list, so you don't have to worry about it. Just know it as the urethra. Going to the testes, to the urinary bladder, or the seminal vesicle, that right there is called the vas deferens. So right here, 1, 2, both of them are the vas deferens. And then luckily for us, the thing provided the inguinal canal as well right here. That right there is the inguinal canal for cats. Okay, and yeah, that should be it with the lab list for cats. Alright, now going over the cross-section of a study, there's only 3 lab terms, so this should be fairly easy. So starting off, this right here, 1, 2, that right there is called the primary spermatocytes. And then number 5 right here, basically this whole structure, that right there is the seminiferous tubule. And then right here, kind of like inside the membrane, is called the interstitial cells. Okay, now going up, as you can see, this is the membrane, right? Inside it, you can see the interstitial cells, and then if you look over here, you can see the seminiferous tubules, like the cavity. And that should be it with the lab list. Okay, now this whole thing I just went over, I know it didn't make much sense, but I promise you, once I make that video explaining it in the lecture portion, it'll make hopefully it'll make sense, because I can't guarantee you that it'll make sense regardless, but yeah.